Okay, so on the first one, we've got 9n equals 7n plus 16. They're asking you to tell them whether the answer is odd or even. So obviously you need to solve it, right? So on this, 9n equals 7n plus 16. What do you need to do? What's the point first? Yeah. We want to get all the variable expressions on one side and all the integers on the other. So what do you add to both sides? Yeah.
7n.
Positive or negative?
Negative.
Let's add negative 7n to both sides. Good. Everybody's got it? So 9n minus 7n is 2n equals 16. So we've got all the variable expressions on one side and all the integers on the other. So we've got 2n equals 16. Do you have to do anything else except look at it to know what n is? No. What's n?
8.
n equals 8. So, is it even or odd?
Even.
Even. You've answered A. Everybody have those notes?
Yes.
Good, because that's the best place for me to write it so everybody can see it. Wait! Oh, sorry. 12n minus 84 equals 5n. In this case, one of the things you can do that makes it really easy to see what the integer is look at this. You isolate the integer and the operator. So what are you trying to get by itself? What number is it?
84, negative 8.
Negative 84. So if you take the operator with it when it's in that second position, you easily see that it's not just 84, it was minus 84, which is plus a negative 84. Okay? So what are we going to add to both sides?
84. No, 12n.
Negative 12n, because we want to isolate the variable expressions on only one side. So let's put negative 12n on both sides. So now we're going to have negative 84 on this side equal to negative 7n. All the variable expressions are on one side. All the integers are on the other. How do you get n by itself? Divide both sides by
7. Negative 7.
negative 7. The entire coefficient. That's how many n's there are. A coefficient just tells you how many of. Coefficient, how many of. Okay? So n is equal to whatever 7, how many 7s it is. How many 7s in 8?
12.
Oh, well, answer the question. How many 7s in 8?
1.
1. With how many left over? 1, right? 7 into 8 is 1 with 1 left over. How many 7s in 14? 2. And a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So if you're like me and you really didn't learn your 12 tables, you can do it that way. That's division. I mean, it's division, but it's division really easily if you've got a fraction. All right? Oh, is our answer even or odd?
Even.
Even. So let's make a note that that's even. Okay? What about this one? 5 parentheses 2 plus n equals 3 parentheses n plus 6. The thing about when a number is right against the parentheses, I mean, we're talking in that parentheses personal space. What's going on?
Multiply.
It's multiplying with everything in the parentheses. So we're using what property?
Distributive.
The distributive property. So 5 is in 2's personal space plus n's personal space. And 3 is in n's personal space and 6's personal space. The thing that doesn't change is the operator between here. So 5 times 2 is 10, plus 5 times n is 5n. 3 times n is 3n, plus 3 times 6 is 18. Okay? Now, one of the things, it's not a hard and fast rule, but one of the things I really like to do is, if possible, I like to keep my variable expressions positive. So I want to move all my variable expressions to one side and all my integers to the other side. So I'm going to add a negative 3n to both sides. Why? Because I want it to be a positive. So 10 plus 2n equals 18. Everybody see why I moved the negative 3n instead of a negative 5n?
Yes.
Because I wanted this to be positive, not negative. Had I moved it to the other side, I would have ended up with a negative something n. I'd rather not deal with negatives. Doesn't matter so much with equalities, but it does matter with inequalities. You have to do extra steps. I don't like extra steps if I don't need to. Then to get 10 away from 2n, because you know Mom doesn't approve, that 10 is really, just not supposed to be around. What do?
U minus 10 to both sides.
Add negative 10 to both sides, because I don't like minusing. I like adding. Adding is easier. 2n equals 18 minus 10? 8. Anybody need to actually divide? Or do we know what n is?
We already know.
We know, and it's
4.
n is 4. Okay, and that answer is even. One more, I'm on tape. Okay? And you guys better write fast, because I erase fast. This one I'm actually going to write here. 5 times 2n plus 3 minus 1 minus 2n equals 2 times 6 plus 7n. That's a mouthful. Okay? First thing I want to do is add the opposite. So I'm going to move this over a little bit. Plus negative 1 times plus negative. Oh, yeah, instead of just putting a negative in front of the parentheses and making the negative get in the personal space of the parentheses, I actually put the negative 1 there. Because I don't want to forget to distribute that negative 1 throughout the parenthesis. 5's going to go get friendly with 2n and 3. Negative 1's going to get friendly with 1 and negative 2. 2's going to get friendly with 6 and 7n. So 5 times 2n?
10.
5 times 3?
8. 15.
15. Don't forget to bring down the operator, and in this case, when we add the opposite, it will always be plus.
Is that a minus 2 right there?
Yeah, so because it used to be subtraction, and then we added the opposite. So plus negative 1 times 1 is negative 1, plus negative 1 times negative 2n, it's positive 2n now, because we had negative 1. And that's probably the #1 problem that people have, is they forget that negative 1, particularly with the second item. 2 times 6?
12.
2 times 7n.
14.
Awesome. You guys are the best. Okay, now we've got a bunch of numbers on the left-hand side that can be combined. So what are our n's altogether?
12 n.
12 n's. And 15 and negative 1?
14.
14 equals 12 plus 14n. Now at first glance you might think everything cancels each other, but they don't. Because the n's are what the integer is and the integer is what the n is. This has more n's than this. So I'm going to add a negative 12n to both sides. Now does everybody see why I chose the 12 instead of the 14?
So you can have a positive and not a negative.
So I can have a positive and not a negative. Thank you, Kyle. Plus 2n. And then I'm going to add a negative 12 to both sides. Everybody with me?
Yes.
So 2 equals 2n. And n equals, 2 equals 2n, so n equals 1. And it was odd. I'm going to put the light back on. No, the last one, 1 is odd.
Oh, okay, I didn't.
1 is odd, and we got it? Everybody good?
Yes.
Awesome.